to start here in the whites, Fairleigh Dickinson in the navy blue. And we'll get going here on a beautiful Monday night here in the Steel City. Gilman wearing the captain's armband today for the Panthers on that back line. The sophomore from pretty close by in Pennsylvania started all 22 games last season as a freshman. Still only in his sophomore season. He feels like one of those guys who's been around the program for a while, but still only in his second year here.
Yeah, and it says a lot to say something like that. Give him the captain's armband. Tells you how important that player is to this Pitt team.
Whistle blows outside the box as Sam Cow goes down there, and a pretty good opportunity from Pitt right here at the start. Free kick from just outside the 18-yard box.
Yeah, that free kick didn't look like they wanted to actually have it awarded to them with how they were able to push through afterwards, but referee blew the whistle, and honestly, this is a position you'd love to have a free kick in. Just under 60 seconds played, and you're going to have a big chance on goal right here. If you're going to take a shot, you'd like to have someone with a nice, strong left foot to strike through it. But we know how much Filip Mirkovic likes to take a chance in areas like this. Might be a cross, though.
Mirkovic and Kozamara both up. Lined up with this free kick here. Fairleigh Dickinson wall about 8 yards away. Ball goes into the box, back post. Nice play to keep that one out of trouble there from King. Still an opportunity maybe brewing here for the Panthers on the left side with Mayufo. Now to the top, it's Felipe Mercado who clears, and it'll have some time to regroup things here with Silly. Flag comes up there, though, offsides, and King will get his first free kick of the night.
Yeah, as you said, King did well to kind of come out strong. Like I said, going into that free kick, it seemed like it was going to be Mirkovic early on in the game to take that free kick, and he did go for the cross, but King was ready for it, punched it away, and he has his defense there to back him up. Nothing going on the edge of the 18.
King in that Fairleigh Dickinson back line, very strong the last few games, has not conceded a goal in 3 games since losing 3-0 to Cal. 2 0-0 draws over that span, but still doing a really nice job of bending but not breaking.
Yeah, and honestly, that's going to be their goal tonight, too. Bend but not break is the story of FDU's season. And they're going to try to keep a shutout here. If they can score a goal, even better. But their number one objective for tonight is to just stay strong defensively, hold this nice, strong midfield and defensive block like they're doing right now, and just look to try to get something on the break. You know, the ball goes back there to the defender, and they're going to try to kick it to the corner flag. They want to get numbers forward. They want to defend. And they want to keep Pitt uncomfortable.
This is one of those games, too. You're probably going to see Pitt in possession for the vast majority of this game, but Fairleigh Dickinson, a team that doesn't mind playing in the defensive end.
You can see from their formation, they have it very strong 4-4-2 going across, but they also have their wingers dropping back in to help defend like they will right now. And they're going to need to.
Flag goes up there. Looked like a bit of a miscommunication between Kozamara.
Got to be a penalty.
And it will be. So another foul here. Looks like the free kick's going to come outside the box. Excuse me, it is going to be a penalty kick.
Yeah, it was a handball inside the 18 there.
I don't think it was right on the edge. So Pitt with an opportunity early to take the lead. Looks like it'll be Sam Cow to take it. Wasn't really sure where that happened. It looked like it was just kind of a mess of bodies there right on the outside of the 18-yard box, but
yeah, a bit of fluke defending. You know, you're rushing back, trying to, as a defender, get something in front of the player that's charging into your 18-yard box, but as he flicked it back, just hits him straight on the forearm. And it'll be an early penalty kick awarded to this Pitt team. What a chance this is for them to take the lead in the game against a team that's going to want to defend.
4th minute of play. Sam Cow looking for his 3rd goal of the year, and he's got it. Doesn't play around there at all. The roller gets in, and Pitt goes up 1-0 early on.
How simple was that for Sam Cow? Talk about composure. just slot it right in the bottom corner. And against an FDU team that, like we were saying, is going to have to not concede in order to really make something in this game. They go down 1-0 very, very early on. Under 4 minutes played, Pitt with a 1-0 lead. They're going to be feeling really great about that.
And that handball in the box, those are the kind of mistakes when you're looking for that upset on the road that you have to avoid. And Fairleigh Dickinson makes a big one early on, and Pitt up 1.
Yeah, I want to say it's unlucky to have something like that happen. It's always such a fluke event when you have a little handball like that, and to get charged with a penalty kick because of it, it's going to hurt the morale of the team more than anything. Still, lots of soccer to be played.
Sam Cow, the junior, the 8th goal of his Pitt career there. Came into this one with 2 goals in 4 games so far for the Panthers. And he picks up the opener here on this Monday night. In the middle with Mirkovic again, back to the outside with Silly. So early on, if you're Fairleigh Dickinson, you're down 1. You know you're going to have to shift to the offensive attack a little bit earlier than you might expect. As another run going down the right side, it looks like Kozamara had a step there, but couldn't chase that one down, and it looks like Pitt will get another corner.
Yeah, Pitt not letting up any pressure at all here. They know that they need to keep scoring if they really want to make something in this game, because they know how strong FDU are defensively. But like you said, they're going to try to control the game a little bit. And right now, that control looks like attack after attack, but that header is going to go straight over.
Header from Matisse Lefebvre goes over the crossbar there. So nothing doing on that set-piece opportunity for the Panthers. But if you're a team like Fairleigh Dickinson who leans on that defense, how do you sort of make that shift to the attacking side of things a little bit easier here, down 1-0?
Yeah, it's going to be hard because they probably came into this game thinking that they were going to have at least 20 minutes of soccer at 0-0, but it's really turned into a whole different game now because they're going to have to step forward. They're going to have to put much more pressure on the Pitt backline as they try to play out, and that's going to leave them way more exposed at the back like right now.
Left side, Torre. Ball goes into the box. That one played nicely out, though, for a Pitt throw-in. Looks like Jeffrey Marquez on the breakup there.
Yeah, right on cue as FDU tries to throw numbers forward from that goal kick. Pitt quickly win possession back and find Torre running it behind. So that's something that if FDU want to try to get a goal and get back into this game, are going to be really exposed to, especially since this Pitt attack is so good on the break. We talk about their ability to possess, but they have so much pace in the forward line, and they have so much ability in their defense and midfield to kind of find those threaded passes. They love to go straight from their defense to attack, just like right now.
Middle, Sam Cowell looking for the pass there, but a nice play from King to come off his line and make the play there. We talked about a little bit before we went on air. This group of forwards for the Panthers, a very new group from last year, coming from really all over the world. We saw a few guys in action early. Kozamara, one of the guys kind of hopping up on the attack there as well. But that group of forwards, Torre and Sam Cow, sort of in today. Torre, one of the newer players from Europe. He's coming in, and it's taken some time for this group of forwards to mesh a little bit, but it seems like as the season grows older, they've sort of developed a little bit more chemistry, especially with Mirkovic as well in that midfield position.
Yeah, and we talked about not only the forwards before the game, but we talked about Mirkovic kind of stepping into a more important role in this team. Last year, he was part of a much bigger puzzle, a piece of a much bigger puzzle that really relied on kind of older talent, players like Jackson Walty, players like Val Noel, players like Bertrand Jacquesson, that had that experience. They had that understanding with each other and of the game to kind of work through issues, work through problems, and make goals happen, make things happen. And now a lot of that pressure has kind of fallen on Mirkovic's shoulders, it seems. Matt Kerman watch list preseason, you think that might get to his head a little bit, and you know, he hasn't had the numbers that he had last year, but that's also not his game necessarily. He's a very strong, solid midfield player who likes to move the ball from side to side, who likes to find opportunities for his teammates, his wingers. And he's not going to pop up with too many goals, but, you know, getting placed on the Herman watch list like that, it does put a little bit of pressure on you to kind of make things happen.
So Alberto Herranz limp off the field there. Fairleigh Dickinson. So he is out of the game early. Looks like just a cramp there, though, maybe. Just needs a minute on the sideline. Look, he's putting weight on both of his legs, so.
I hope he's all right.
Here's Mirkovic again.
Yeah, and look at the way he just likes to control it in midfield there. You saw that he received it in a lot of pressure, kind of breaks away from that, passes it, and gets it right back. And he's still involved in the play now as it moves forward.
We saw him in that role a lot last year, the sort of quarterback of that Pitt attack. A bit more of a shoot-first mentality, it seems, so far this season. But that ball going into the box. A chance here for Sam Cow, and a really nice save coming from King.
Save. Wow, that was a brilliant play from Sullivan to head it down. He knew exactly where Sam Cow was. That was brilliant attacking play from Pitt. He just couldn't get the final touch past King. And that's that amazing goalkeeping that we were talking about before. It's unfortunate that one of the few shots he's have to face this game was from the penalty spot. Didn't have that much chance, but that's another brilliant save to keep his team in it. Almost as good of a goal as a goal on the other end.
Second save of the night for King. Another set-piece opportunity for the Panthers. This one comes back out to Mayufo, who goes for net but just misses high.
Yeah, Mayufo will want that one back. As a fullback, you love those chances when they come out to you on the edge of a box from a corner. You can kind of put your foot through it, but he just got it a little wrong. Leaning back a little bit, it went a little over.
Going back to that opportunity, those are the kind of chances that Pitt's going to be looking for in this one, sort of getting that one run past that Fairleigh Dickinson back line, and they almost had goal number 2 of the night there from Sam Cow. 2 shots on goal for the Panthers so far. 2 have missed the net as well.
And FDU haven't even had a single shot themselves. I'm not even sure I've seen the ball go near the Pitt penalty box.
Pitt commanding control of possession, as you were saying.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of that is coming from, we were saying Mirkovic, but it's their ability now, like you see. It's the trust they have in their defenders to hold on to the ball. FDU are not pressing too hard yet. You know, they still have a little bit of time left in this game. They're kind of focusing their pressure in midfield and in defense as opposed to on the Pitt defenders and with their forwards. But I think they're going to need to start using their forwards a little bit more on the pressing front to try to get ahead in this game.
Mayufo can't run down that pass there from Mercado.
And you know what? That is the pressure from FDU. Forcing Pitt to misplay passes like that is going to lead to possession for FDU, which they need to make use of. But you saw it right when they get possession, they look to go long quick. They look to try to make something happen instantly on the counterattack as opposed to holding the ball themselves. It doesn't seem like they have the same trust in their ability to build from the back that Pitt does.
And we were talking a little bit before, Jay Vidovic, a guy who really builds his teams around trying to have that build from the back line, like you were saying with Fairleigh Dickinson, but they haven't necessarily lived up to that billing this year. This is a team that's tried to play with a little bit more pace than we've maybe seen in years past, especially with that young group of forwards.
Yeah, and that's something that they need to do when they come up against really strong opponents like they've come up against in Wake Forest and Marshall so far this season. A lot of times they would be going straight from their center backs into the feet of the forwards, trying to use that strong hold-up play from players like Thorson that they've brought in order to make something happen on the wings. But now they're just pushing straight through midfield because they can.
Mayufo with some time and space gives to Torre. Ball coming from the outside of the box. Looked like a chance there in the middle. But King there once again. It was Sam Cow crashing hard to the net again.
Yeah, that's great wing play from Torre. They get the ball out wide. He makes one quick move, gets a yard of space, and puts the ball in. That's what he needs to do. We were talking about him a little bit before and his inability to get involved. But, you know, he doesn't need to be the one scoring the goals. He has that ability to make a move, make a man miss, and put in a quick cross. He needs to be willing to let the rest of his team be the goal scorers, and he'll get a lot of assists that way this season.
Mayufo looking for Torrey again there. That one broken up by Kevin Leonard. And it looks like Pitt will get another throw in here on the near side of the field. 13th minute of play here. Shot still 4-0 in favor of the Panthers. Torrey, nice job to get to that ball down the left wing. Physical play down in the corner. They call that one on Torrey. So it'll be a free kick for Fairleigh Dickinson again from inside their own box. Ethan, under 15 minutes in, how has this approach from Fairleigh Dickinson maybe altered from what you expected in the pregame? Obviously, that handball changes things drastically, Pitt scoring on the PK. But outside of that, have they lived up to the expectations from a defensive standpoint and sort of staying back and just letting Pitt come to them?
They honestly have, yeah. It's really unfortunate that they went down so early through that penalty kick from an FDU perspective, because their whole entire game plan just goes out the window. And they're sticking to it well so far in the way that they know how to, because it's the way that they've been drilled to play. But unfortunately, it's not what they need right now.
In the box again. Mirkovic on the volley into Samkow. A chance there, and that one goes right over the net from Sullivan. Great opportunity from point blank, but Sullivan can't find the net.
Yeah, a bit of misplay in there with Samkow's initial strike, and then Sullivan had to go himself, but both of them just slightly mishitting it, not ready for that moment. Honestly, it came off of a mishit from Mirkovic himself, so those big chances are ones that Pitt are going to rue if FDU can find a goal at the other end. But the way this game's been looking, it's been all Pitt so far.
Foul here. It looks like Leonard goes down pretty hard there. For Fairleigh Dickinson. He's slow to get up, but does so, and it's a little bit of attention from the trainers there. Looks to be okay, and will stay in the game, it looks like.
Yeah, he'll be all right, but head injury, you have to stop the play.
It might come out for a minute, it looks. And he will. His play will continue. 5 shots now for the Panthers. Granted, still early on, but Spencer King in net for the Knights has looked pretty solid. You saw his positioning really top-notch there on a couple opportunities from Samkow outside of that PK.
Yeah, he's been very solid. And in fact, I think FDU have looked fairly solid defensively. Every time the ball goes out wide and they get a chance to cross the ball, and they've done well to defend it and hit it away.
Pitt continuing to favor that left side with Torrey. Turns it over there, though, and Fairleigh Dickinson looking for a little bit of possession here.
Nice. That's the first real time I think I've seen FDU kind of try to slow it down and play it backwards. But again, right when it goes to King, he kicks it straight forward to try to get it to the forward line. But you want to get it into their feet. You want to.
Good run here. Samkow flag goes up, though, so that one wouldn't have counted anyway.
You want to be getting into the feet of your forwards, like I was saying, as opposed to trying to force something over the top and putting it on their heads and forcing them to make a hard touch to knock it down.
That was a pretty good look there, too, as you were saying, on the foot there of Samkow, but just a half step off sides, and we get a whistle and a free kick.
And again, you could just see the difference between these two teams. He goes long from the free kick instead of going short and trying to hold possession, and they just instantly lose it. Pitt, on the other hand, they get a throw-in, they're going to go back to their defenders, and they're going to pass it around the back and make another chance for themselves from scratch.
Nice play there from Sullivan to intercept there. Going down the left side again for Torrey. Good speed there as well from Marquez to chase him down. That battle continues in the left corner. As Sullivan looks for space out to the top with Mercado. Here's Mirkovic. Slows things down on the outside with Mayufo back in the middle to Mercado. Back to Mirkovic. Pitt Pitt slowing things down a little bit in the final third. Mirkovic and Mercado continue to control in the midfield. Outside potential run up the left side there.
Great tackle from Mercado. This is something you love to see if you're a Pitt fan. You know, this is kind of a, like you were talking about before, a new look Pitt team. They didn't really know who was going to fit into midfield where, who's going to fit in the forward line where, but seeing Mercado and seeing Mirkovic really control the game right now, work off each other, make runs, make space, and find the players in behind in order to create chances for themselves. It's really encouraging from a Pitt standpoint.
And that was something we were talking about too earlier on, these sort of ebbs and flows to this Pitt starting 11, where everybody was playing, especially in that midfield spot like you were talking about with Mercado. He really seems to have found his role here. This one goes in the box and King controls easily. But that rotation with Mirkovic, Mercado, and those midfielders up there, one of the puzzle pieces Jay Vidovic is still trying to fit into place here in the early part of the season. Garcia on the left side for the Knights. A little bit of possession here for them.
Yeah, and finally they'll be able to break out of some Pitt press, get a couple touches, switch the play. Still, though, Pitt pressing high, forcing a bad spell and forcing a long clearance from King.
You see that pressure from Torre and Sullivan and others up there up top as well, really forcing the Knights to move the ball quickly, and they have not been up to the task so far tonight.
No, the Pitt forwards are just so quick. If not scoring goals, they're so quick at reaching your back line, making you make a mistake, forcing you to, at the very least, make a decision to either kick it long or try to beat you. And you really don't want to be trying to beat a player in your own defensive third.
Right side. Kozamara with some space. Going off the post. That one, the rebound goes out. Torre with an opportunity now as well, but that one goes wide. Another great chance for the Panthers. Goes by the wayside. And we'll get a throw in.
Huge chance. Really well done from Kozamara to kind of make that happen. And as it comes off the post, it almost looked like Samkow was going to have a crazy scorpion goal.
Few Panthers with opportunities there. Player down in the box for FDU. I'm not really sure who it is. Looks like it might be Marquez. But he gets up and looks to be okay after the ref came over and helped him there. But nevertheless, another great opportunity for the Panthers. As you mentioned, Samkow as well had an opportunity along with Torre and Kozamara, who had the initial shot. But still just a 1 on the scoreboard for the Panthers. Play continues here, still in the Pitt final third. Torre gains possession.
Torres looked very good this game, actually. We were talking about him before as maybe not doing enough for this Pitt team, but he's really causing problems here.
Torre, space on the left side. Tough angle shot there, hits the outside of the net. And Pitt will get their 4th corner of the afternoon.
Yeah, right on cue. Torre finding a way in behind, forcing the defenders to make a stop, and forcing another corner, another big chance for Pitt. Every single one of these corners is going to be dangerous. You want to keep putting pressure on this FDU back line in any way you can.
Saw Pitt go short on the corner to Kozamara from the opposite side earlier. A chance. The ball loose in the box for a minute, but no one could clean that one up, and it goes out of play.
Huge chance. Anytime the ball streaks across the 6-yard box like that, anything could happen. That's the corridor of uncertainty right there.
Corridor of uncertainty. I like that one.
Thank you.
There was a lot of. It looked like a lot of guys could have had a touch on that one, but
yeah.
It seemed like everyone was trying to track it down for a minute and just went out of play almost untouched there. Cabral Carter gets one of his first touches of the game in net for the Panthers tonight once again.
Great pass.
Up the right side, another chance here for Kozamara. 1-on-1 there with Garcia working his way into the box. Nice play coming back, though, by Maury, newly into the game, with the break up there. Pitt still relentless in the pressure, though. Silly looking for Kozamara up the right side. Fairleigh Dickinson once again being forced to make these quick passes in their defensive third.
And again, given away.
It's Mercado in the midfield. Mirkovic on the outside, back to Kozamara. Shot from him, looking for that outside post, but it goes wide. And it looks like it'll be a throw in here.
Yeah, that was somewhere in between a shot and a cross from Kozamara. Never something you want to do. Just want to make up your mind, make a decision, and go for it. Either force the goalie to make a save or give your teammate a really good chance to get a foot on it. And unfortunately there, it was somewhere in the middle, and Sam Cow just couldn't get a touch on it that he needed.
Pitt with that 1-0 lead, but still feels like they've had a lot of missed opportunities early on in the game. They have 7 shots, only 2 have hit the target. But at the same time, they're sort of getting these runs, but just kind of not converting. A little bit of disorganization in that final pass. Still the reason this is a 1-goal game.
Hey, I'd rather have some opportunities than none at all like FDU have had. But as I say that...
a little bit of an announcer's jinx here as Fairleigh Dickinson really in the attacking third for the first time tonight. On the outside, Garcia tries to put that one in the box. Can't find a head, though, and Pitt able to alleviate some of the pressure for the moment.
Very well done from Pitt. And you saw how differently they're able to defend as opposed to FDU. Every single time FDU are forced back into their own defensive third, it's just row Z. Kick it as far as you can. Get it out of here. Look for the head of your forward to try to get it away. But Pitt, they hold possession so well, and they're able to build from it and use the wingers like they do now.
Working that left side again with Torre. Middle with Mercado. Good ball on the outside. Kozora the head. That one saved, though.
Again, Kozamara not really sure what he wanted to do there. I think he wanted to try to head it back across, but he just couldn't get the angle on it that he needed in order to really make that happen.
Seen Kozamara with pace up that right side a few times. There's another opportunity there and a third save of the afternoon for King.
Yeah, both wingers for Pitt looking really good. They're getting high. They're getting in behind the defense and causing a lot of problems for this FDU defense.
Gabriel and Leonard on the right side now for the Knights, but once again, a short possession there. One touch pass goes back to the outside with Torre, who slows things down. And it seems like even when Fairleigh Dickinson's in possession, they're sort of playing at the pace of the Panthers. Whether that's them on the press or even trying to get that ball into the attacking third, the Pitt back line really not giving them anything to work with early on. Right side, Lefebvre. One of quite a few French natives on this Pitt team. Obviously, Bertrand Jacquesson, Valentin Noel going out last year, but still a team with some strong French representation. Seen Torre in the game as well for the Panthers. Now Leonard on the right side, and that's one of those turnovers you feel like you might get some numbers going forward, but something like that where you lose possession really takes away that momentum on the attack.
Yeah, it's really disheartening, too, as an FDU player, as an FDU fan, to kind of see that happening, because those are the few chances that you're going to get against this Pitt team that's going to really control the game. So anytime you have a chance on the break, you want to make use of it, but something like that happens, misplayed pass, and you just give up a huge chance.
Kozamara looking for room on that right side. Gets that one taken away, though, but Mirkovic recovers. Looking for Sullivan there running into the box, but can't find him. Thanks to the defensive play there.
Yeah, and even when FDU seemed like they're about to get possession, seemed like they're about to get a spell and kind of break out, it just goes nowhere. Again, the Pitt defense just gobbling up every single long ball that FDU go for, controlling the game. Ball gets to Mirkovic's feet. He's able to distribute it well.
Mirkovic right side. Kozamara back to Mirkovic again. Gives to Mercado in the middle. Tripped up there. Whistle comes in, so Pitt will get another chance here on the free kick.
FDU feel a little hard done by that. Tough foul to concede in midfield, but also they need a slight break. This game's been very, very active. Not a lot of stoppages, and the only stoppages they've really had are a penalty against them and a couple corners.
Not necessarily the stoppages they've been looking for.
No, and in fact, they've gone down with a couple injuries themselves too. So pressure doesn't always mean shots on goal for Pitt. It just means tiring them out, forcing them to make decisions they might not want to.
Sullivan, left side, looking for Torre.
Another free kick.
FDU continuing to concede these set pieces in dangerous areas. This one, once again, still just outside the box. Looks like it'll be Mirkovic to take it up top.
Yeah, this is one he's really going to want to strike at goal this time. A central free kick is not the easiest to put in the back of the net because the goalie usually has a pretty clear line of sight all the way. Forces the player to make a decision on which side they want to go for. As you can see, King, he's lined up right in the center of the goal.
Mirkovic, the opportunity off the set piece. Really nice save by King. Moving to his right, gets the gloves on that one. And a strong shot by Mirkovic is turned away.
Yeah, exactly like I was saying, though. As a goalie, you feel pretty comfortable when the free kick's in the center of the goal because you just have a lot of time to watch it happen. It doesn't have to come from one of the sides over the shoulder of your defenders. So he was ready for it, but still an amazing save.
Another turnover in the defensive third for the Knights. Panthers possess with Mayufo. Sullivan out to Torre with some space. Looking back post on the pass, and another strong chance for Sam Cow in the box goes by the wayside.
Yeah, he just couldn't get his head on the right side of that. On the right side of that cross from Torre. Brilliant wing play again from Torre to try to make something happen. But Sam Cow just couldn't find the finish. And now a couple changes for Pitt.
Subs coming on for the Panthers. Looks like it'll be Hall, McIntyre,
and Souza.
And Souza as well.
Yeah, and these are these attacking changes that we were talking about. Is, you know, Pitt not sure themselves on where all these players are going to fit into that forward line, into those midfield triangles, and how they're going to link up with the rest of the team. So this is a chance for them to kind of figure things out as an attacking threat. What's going to work best? Kozumara and Torre did a great job today, but now it's McIntyre and Hall's chance to make something happen themselves.
Mirkovic over to the newly subbed in McIntyre. Back to Mayufo. Turnover there, though, and potentially an opportunity in transition here for Gomez. Tony Gomez, the native of Spain, turns it over there. Had a potential run up the right side with Leonard, but couldn't find him, and Pitt once again gains possession and moves into the final third.
Yeah, and that's that problem with FDU. They're sitting in such a low block that even when the ball is given away like that right at midfield, and he's like basically one-on-one with the defender in front of him, there's not much there going. He really wants help from his wingers to be able to defend, but to be able to attack, but it's such a long run for them because they're in that defensive block. It's so hard for them to move up and down the wings in that way in order to really support their forwards.
And to go back to a previous point you made earlier about those two wingers, Kozumara and Torre, coming out of the game, they had a strong showing today. That's a group that Jay Vidovic has had his eye on and trying to nail down as the season goes along, but a strong performance today from the two Pitt wingers.
I'm sure that's not the end of their nights either.
It's the kind of performance you want to see, especially from the young guys on your team, sort of facilitating that attack, and certainly both of them did just that in their 30 or so minutes in tonight's action so far. Here's Hall. Back to Lefebvre. Noah Hall, another one of these young Pitt players into the game. Can really play everywhere on the pitch as well.
Yeah, and there Merkovich just giving the ball away cheaply and fouling the player in order to fouling Tony Gomez for FDU in order to try to slow that play down.
And if you're going to get one of these attacking opportunities from FDU, it's probably going to be from Tony Gomez. 7 career goals for him. He's 5th in the NEC in shots per game as well this season with just under 2.5. But he's one of those facilitating forwards that you're going to lean on, especially in a game like this where your opportunities might be few and far between.
Yeah, and you want a player like that in your team when you like to defend in such a low block like they are. You want a player that's going to be taking a lot of shots and kind of forcing chances at the other end, because otherwise you're not going to be able to make anything happen, unfortunately. You want someone that's going to be running it behind and always causing problems and always looking to make something happen on goal as opposed to going backwards when that's not exactly what you need.
You just saw there one of their only set pieces opportunities so far of the night, and just unable to really get anything going off of that. Another one of those opportunities that you'd like to take advantage of if you're the Knights.
Yeah, of course. Instantly, though, Pitt win the ball back, and they use their wingers well.
McIntyre looking for the trailer, Mayufo there. Couldn't find him. And a turnover on the near side for the Panthers. So just under 35 minutes in, still 10-0 in shots for the Panthers, but it seems like Fairleigh Dickinson has slowed this game down a little bit in the last 10 minutes or so. Early on, Pitt with a flurry of opportunities, but a little bit quieter on the offensive side of things as of late.
Yeah, both teams have been quiet offensively. FDU with a lot more chances, and a big one here. They can bring it under control.
Run up the left side. Nice play there from Silly, though, to break that up.
Huge tackle. That's really well done for him to get back into position. A little lucky with the misplaced touch there as FDU were trying to break out. But he still had to make a great recovery run and puts in a great challenge at a great time. And Pitt win the ball back and look forward themselves.
Raphael Silly, another one of these French players on this Pitt team. Played with Marc Olympique last season in France, where he had 4 goals and 12 assists. And has started in 5 of Pitt's 6 first games and now 6 of 7 after his nod in the starting 11 tonight.
Yeah, as an international talent, you never know how they're going to do coming over to NCAA soccer. It's such a different game, especially in this ACC division that plays so fast and so strong. But Jay Vidovich, coach with a lot of experience, he knows how to coach those kinds of players into a style that they can work with.
He's really shown to be able to recruit those kinds of players too. We saw Bertrand Jacquesson last year, obviously moving on to the MLS along with his fellow international Valentin Noel. It's not the most traditional college recruiting system as soccer, especially with this wide net of the international play as well. And Jay Vidovich has really shown to be able to hit on these international prospects at a high rate.
He's probably one of the few coaches that really has a lot of international credibility about him as well. You know, he's a coach that can get a lot of his players into academy teams abroad over the summer so they can keep their training up to par, up to speed. When a lot of teams are going to be in the off season, it's not the off season for some of these Pitt players. They're pushing hard, they're training well, and they're training with programs that are some of the best in the world.
McIntyre, nice play there from Ruiz to break that pass up. And the back line for Fairleigh Dickinson doing a really nice job here in the last 20 or so minutes.
And this is what we thought they were going to do before the game. kind of hold strong defensively, force Pitt to make poor decisions in the final third and have mediocre chances at best. But Pitt have looked very good, and being down a goal really doesn't help.
McIntyre centering pass, can't find that player running in the middle, Souza. Quickly in transition here now, Fairleigh Dickinson again can't keep possession, and Pitt works back into their final third.
Yeah, another mistake, and Pitt move quickly. But look how many numbers are back for FDU. Instantly, they just have 7 or 8 behind the ball to try to defend. Makes it so hard for Pitt to break through on a break. But FDU are down a goal. They need to have these numbers forward in order to help out their attackers when they get into these dangerous positions.
It really is pretty remarkable to watch, Ethan. Even on the transition for Pitt there, you have 8 players behind the ball, like you mentioned, for Fairleigh Dickinson nearly immediately. Employing that strategy here once again as Mirkovic gets that one taken away, and potentially something going here up the right side with Gomez. Pass deflected there off of Gilman and out of play on the near side.
Yeah, and that's better. You saw how Marquez was pushing forward towards that corner flag to try to be an option, and that's what they need. They need their midfielders, they need their defenders to kind of run into those channels and be options going forward if they're going to want to get a goal back into this game. It's obvious that they're very well drilled from a defensive standpoint, and they want to be there to help out their goalie and to not concede, but they've already conceded, so it needs to change. Whew. And you could see the confidence in this Pitt team with Carter making
maybe a little
move.
lackadaisical there on the back line. Still not out of the box yet for the Panthers as Lefebvre finally does clear. But you mentioned Marquez as well earlier. A pretty strong performance from him so far tonight. Working into the box, Maury, a shot goes on. And the first save of the night there for Cabral Carter.
Yeah, and the first shot for FDU, that was actually a very good chance. They picked the ball off after that kind of dangerous play that you were saying that Pitt were doing in the back, trying to break out. And Mirkovic just can't control it. And they get a shot away from it. That's what they need to be doing.
Here's Hall 1-on-2. Puts it back into the middle for Mercado.
Yeah, Pitt not bothered by that, though. They're going to try to create another chance instantly. They go up the other end, and here's McIntyre on the wing.
McIntyre chased down there by Gomez. But it comes back to him in that near corner in the Pitt attacking area.
Looks so easy for Gilman to read that and intercept it, give his team another chance at an attack.
There's Marquez again breaking that one up. Not clear yet, though. McIntyre regains possession and gives off to Souza. Souza again. Mercado back to Mirkovic, looking for net again from way out. And we've seen him do that a few times now. Look for the shot from a ways away, and once again he misses high.
That was a great chance, though, and a chance that I think he should be taking. If he can keep that down, force the goalie to make a save, goodness knows where the rebound's going to go. Could go out for a corner, could bounce straight into the path of one of the attackers in front of goal. And Samkow just coming off now, but Samkow's the exact type of player that loves to feed off of those rebounds, loves to be scrappy in the box there, make something happen. Now it's going to be Morenia's turn up front.
Morenia taking on that sort of center forward position that Samkow has been playing all night. An opportunity here for Fairleigh Dickinson on the transition here now. Right side for Leonard. Looking for that near post. Carter a little bit off his line there, was forced to move to his left and make the save. That was a little chippy there.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was ready for that. And honestly, I'm not sure that was even the cross that Leonard was trying to put in. It seemed like he was actually looking for a player, but in the end, it turned into a really great shot to try to catch Carter off guard. Hall, though, with a chance at the other end now.
Yeah, definitely don't think Carter was expecting him to shoot there near side, but he had some space and quite nearly took advantage of it here as we reach just under 5 minutes left here in this first half of play. And as you mentioned, not sure if that was intentional, but if it was, a pretty heady play there from Leonard to look for the open space and give it a shot there. Marquez now in transition alongside Giraldo as well.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Giraldo looking in the middle, and that one goes in. Fairleigh Dickinson tying the game. Looked like Gomez on the header.
What a goal. That's brilliant from FDU, and that's the chance that they needed. Really great cross there from Giraldo on the right side, and I think that's the exact cross that Leonard was trying to put in a couple minutes ago, and that instead went to Carter's near post. But now the game is right back where FDU want it. They got the goal, they have it tied up, and now they can defend much more calmly, knowing that the game is level and they don't need to go and get another one. But you know, after you score a goal like that, it might give you some confidence to push forward a little bit.
I'll tell you what, it felt like Fairleigh Dickinson was getting a little bit more comfortable as the game progressed, and we talked about Gomez as that potential scoring threat for the Knights, and he converts there for his second goal of the year. A great assist from Giraldo as well. And just like that, we're back level at 1.
Yeah, he made a great run in there. Lopez puts a lot of pressure on the defense to make something to cover him, but the cross was just inch perfect, and the header redirected really well into the far corner.
Tony Gomez came into this one tonight with 1 goal and 1 assist so far on the season. His previous goal came against Hofstra in the team's second game. That's the 8th goal of his career. Scored 3 in each of the last 2 seasons. And picks up his second of the season and a big part in this game right before the half, able to knot it up at 1.
Such an important time to score it too, like you say, right before the half. Totally changes that dynamic in the locker room for both teams. You know, Pitt at 1-0 would have been going and saying, hey, we're doing all right. We can score a couple more. Let's get out there and keep the pressure on. And FDU would have been slightly disappointed, maybe think about changing up their game plan, going more attacking. But now things are back level. Everything's going to go back to where it was at the start of the game, pretty much. You have to feel that both these teams are just going to go into the locker room and have the same reading of the game that they did coming in.
And you got to give a heck of a lot of credit to Seth Rowland's squad. You give up that early goal on the PK. You're down against a ranked team on the road, and they dominate possession for the first 30 or so minutes of this game, and you battle back and are able to get the leveling goal right before the half. That is a big one there for the Knights.
Yeah, so much credit to them, and so much credit to their attitude for staying strong and defending the way they have for the last 45 minutes in order to give themselves that opportunity to draw level. I think a lot of teams, after conceding in the 3rd minute, would have dropped their head a little bit. But this FDU team is pushing strong, and now they have numbers forward that are pressing, and it actually wins them a corner.
I tell you what, the momentum has certainly shifted in this one. A corner kick coming for Fairleigh Dickinson, their second of the night. Just about a minute and a half left here in this first half of play. 11-3 in shots still in favor of the Panthers, but it certainly feels like the guys in navy blue have controlled the pace of play for the last 10 or so minutes. Corner looking in the middle there, can't find a head. And that one comes out, and Pitt's trying to get numbers in transition here with Hall up the right side, but a really nice play there by Garcia.
Huge challenge. And that challenge is going to keep the pressure on in Pitt. They're going to be able to go back to the corner flag and try to make something happen themselves.
Barbero one-on-one with Lefebvre in the corner. Ball looking back post there. Mayufo the only one there, though, for the Panthers. And Pitt's got numbers going the other way now up the left side with Souza.
Yeah, good skill from Souza to be able to switch the play, slow it down. But slowing it down like that, it does fall into Pitt's game a little bit to be able to work a chance, but also it falls right into the hands of FDU because it allows them to get numbers back. And when they push forward like that, they really are going to need to run back quick in order to get into the defensive shape that they're comfortable with. Now here's kind of the last chance of the half for Pitt.
Another nice play there from Marquez to force the corner. He has been really strong on that left side. Pitt has been forcing that side of the field pretty much all night, and he has answered the bell at pretty much every step of the way. 5 seconds here left on the corner kick for the Panthers. This one going on and in. A goal to give them the lead with 1 second left in the half. And Pitt goes up 2-1.
A buzzer beater from the corner for Pitt. It didn't even look like Mirkovic knew that he had 10 seconds left until the stadium announcer let him know with the countdown. But what a brilliant ball, and what a brilliant redirected header to be able to find the back of the net. And that, again, has really changed the dynamic of things in this game going into the halftime. Literally a second left on the clock.
Souza gets the goal on the set piece, and you talk about getting the momentum back just in the nick of time. You see the clock, 44:59. Pitt scores right before the half whistle. And a big one coming from the sub, Souza, gets Pitt back out in front. One last chance here as the whistle blows, and quite the last 10 minutes we've had here in Pittsburgh. A goal aside, Cabral Carter work in net. They have done that when they've had possession. It just, can they get back and continue that momentum they had towards the end of that second half?
Yeah, we'll see. And at the very least, they're creating good opportunities when they are creating opportunities. It's just there haven't been that many of them. Pitt, on the other hand, have created some good and some bad, but they've created a lot. And that's always good. You always want to be creating more opportunities just because it's going to give you more chances and better chances in the end of the day. Now already we see FDU starting with the ball, but guess who has it at their feet right now?
Mayufo, Gilman, and Lefebvre in no hurry to get the attack going here in the start of the second half of play. Had that one Pitt lapse on the back line on that goal from Gomez. But besides that, they've been strong tonight as well. Cabral Carter hasn't had to do much, only 2 saves for him.
Yeah, and those wingers of Torre and Kazumara are back in after starting the game really strong. They were putting a lot of pressure on the fullbacks for FDU, and they're going to try to do that again in the start of this second half.
Those 2 initial wingers in the starting 11 for the Panthers, as you mentioned, back in. That one goes out of play. Pitt once again gaining possession, so another relatively slow start to the half. It took a while for both teams to sort of get going, but Pitt stepped on the gas with about 5 minutes into the first period of play. Had that penalty kick goal from Samkow, and also netted one with Souza at the end of the half, as we mentioned before. The Fairleigh Dickinson goal coming from Tony Gomez on that crossing header that evened the game up at 1. We'll get the first Pitt corner here of this second half. 5th on the night for the Panthers. Mirkovic to take it. Already a little bit of confusion here in the box.
Already 1 assist from a corner for him tonight.
Looking near post, nobody home though. Goes back out to the top. Chipped in there by Mercado, but nobody's home. And first free kick of this second half coming up for Spencer King.
Yeah, Mercado just getting that a little bit wrong. Another issue of him, I think, getting caught in 2 minds of whether he wanted to take a shot or pass. And in the end, it just goes out for a goal kick. But great chance here.
Kozamar again moving in. Samkow! Another goal for Louis Samkow, and Pitt goes up 2.
Samkow, take a bow. What a brilliant finish that was. The way it just bounced back to him was so perfect on the half volley, and he's able to lace it into the bottom corner. Gotta love that goal for Louis Samkow. It's his 2nd of the night.
And you talk about a tale of 2 goals. You had the first off a penalty kick, was a slow roller, and then a decisive finish there from the Pitt forward to make it 3-1.
That's the goal that Pitt needed. Really putting this game out of reach a little bit for FDU. A 2-goal cushion is going to be really tough for this FDU attack to come back from. They've struggled to find chances throughout this game. Got a little fortunate with their 1 goal that they have. And now they're going to have to do a heck of a lot more to create 2 or 3 more chances and get back in this game.
Another assist coming from Filip Mirkovic as well. That's his second of the night. But Sam Cow, really the headline story here for the Panthers so far. 4 shots for him on the evening. 2 of them have gone in. And he has really done a nice job of leading this group of Pitt forwards from that center forward position. And you talked about the chance from Kozamara as well. Those young wingers continuing to develop opportunities in the Pitt final third.
Yeah, and I also want to stay on Sam Cow for a second. We talked about him coming into this game as a player that needed to kind of step into a more advanced role and take on a lot more responsibility in that Pitt forward line, as he was a substitute a lot last year and did great things as a substitute, but it's totally different as a starter. It's totally different being lined up out there as the anthem's going, hearing your name announced in front of the crowd, as opposed to coming on as a sub. There's much less pressure on you. And so to see him kind of come into a game like this after a draw against Boston College where they couldn't get much done, and to see him still able to score 2 good goals, granted one was from the penalty spot, but you know that comes with its own pressures. So really nice to see him finding his way in that Pitt forward line.
And Ethan, some really big shoes to fill from last year as well. I mean, most of that forward group now playing professionally. Sam Cow doing a really nice job. Seemingly, it seems like he's sort of working his way into that role more as the season goes along, and Pitt's going to love that as they enter ACC play here.
I also think it says a lot about what he maybe was able to learn last year working under those 2 guys of Val Noel and Bertrand Jacquesson, who, like you said, apply their trade in a professional landscape now. You know, he was able to train with them day in and day out, get any tips and tricks that he can from them. He's putting them into good effect today, at least.
Mirkovic up the middle now. Hall on his left, or excuse me, Torre on his left. Hall came in for him at that left wing position at the end of the first half, but Torre comes back in to start the second half. Fairleigh Dickinson scrambling here on the back line a little bit, trying to get a clearance.
That's much better play from them to be able to break out of that Pitt pressure, though. That's not something we saw a lot from FDU in the first half, is being able to work from defense to attack, and there they were almost able to break through straight from their center backs all the way to their forwards. But Pitt cleaned it up quickly.
You see when they've had success transitioning out of the back like that, it's been those concise passes that's really done well for them. We see them try and stretch the field forward a little bit too much. That's where they've sort of run into these turnovers. Doing a nice job there, like you said, to get the clearance. Mirkovic, left side Torre. One-on-one there with Ruiz. Nice cut back there to get some room. Mirkovic working his way in as well. Left side now. Crosser goes to Sam Cow again! And there's your hat trick!
Take a bow, Louis Samkow.
Can't ask for much more than that. Another crosser into the box for the Panthers. And the Pitt forward has his 3rd goal of the night.
It looked all too easy for Pitt. The ball goes into the corner, and they just put one cross in. And Samkow's there on the other end to put it in the back of the net. A tap in inside the 6-yard box. Might have been inside 1 yard, honestly. But that's what Pitt has been trying to do all night. They put the ball in the corner flag with Torre, with McIntyre, with Kazumara, with Hall. They've been finding those moments in the corners and putting the crosses in. And FDU did a really great job in that first half, kind of defending them, heading them away, forcing Pitt back, forcing them to recycle. But now they're really finding their footing on an attacking standpoint, getting 2 quick goals at the start of this second half, both for Louis Samkow.
And I'll tell you what, Sam Cow's 3rd goal of the night is going to be the headliner there. But that was one heck of a cross by Mateo Mayufo. Certainly not the most difficult goal that Sam Cow will score in his career, but it's been really about the positioning for him tonight, finding the open spaces and taking advantage. And he does so just again there. 3 goals on the night for him.
That's exactly what you want from your forward. A central forward, you don't necessarily need someone that's, the most skillful, that's going to beat 5 players and put it in the back of the net, but you need someone that knows where to be in the box, that knows how to put pressure on the defenders. And even if he's not the one scoring the goals, at least he's dragging a defender wide. He's creating space for players to run in behind, to be second numbers in the box. And now FDU need to capitalize on free kick chances like this in order to come back.
Gomez, nice job there by the Pitt wall to get the block, and it looked like, guess who, Louis Samkow getting his head up there and directing that one away from the net front.
Yeah, both ends of the game here for Louis Samkow. Player with a lot of energy, player that wants to be involved everywhere on the pitch. And he's done so really well tonight.
A 3-assist game as well for Filip Mirkovic, getting the secondary assist on that last goal. FDU working into the box here. Giraldo trying to regain possession, but once again, the Pitt defender is too strong there.
Yeah, really well done from Gilman to kind of see that out. Get his team a goal kick. Let them work out from the back like they love to do.
This is the part of the game where you can really slow things down if you're the Panthers. You had that a little bit of an alarm bell going off at the end of that first half there. You're up 2-1, but you're saying, okay, Fairleigh Dickinson kind of figured it out from an attacking standpoint, but the Panthers have come out flying here in this second half of play and really put some distance between them and the Knights.
Yeah, that 2-goal cushion felt like a lot. Now with a 3-goal cushion, feels really out of reach for FDU, but they're still pressing strong. Credit to them. Winning the ball back high against this Pitt defense is something that they're going to need to do over the next 35 minutes or so if they want to stay in this game. But Pitt will be feeling really comfortable. Only 1 goal up for most of that first half. It honestly wasn't that comfy. They definitely were in control, but if I were them, I would have loved to have had another goal for a lot more of that second half. It would have felt better. But now they can really start to slow it down, control the game, play how they want to, and turn this into a little bit of a training session.
Souza and Mirkovic in no rush in the midfield. Mirkovic curls and gives to Samkow. Right side looking for Silly. That one poked out of play by Barbero, but Pitt will get the throw in. Counterattack maybe coming here for the Knights, but that's been the story of the night so far. Just unable to really get out of that midfield.
Yeah, you see how Pitt pressure there. Even 3 goals up, they're still stepping quick to every single man in midfield. They want the ball back. They're hungry. They want it at their feet and be able to possess it.
Tima coming in for Ruiz on the substitution for the Knights. Gilman giving to Mercado, who was fouled there. A bit of a shove. So Pitt will once again be able to operate in possession here.
Yeah, and the way they resume play so quickly, you just love to see it. You love to watch a team that wants the ball to be in play. They don't want to waste time, even when they're 3 goals up. They want to look forward, get the ball to their wingers, just like they are now.
Torre outside of the box, looking for the shot there. Nice block, though, by Tima, who just came into the game. Silly looking for the cross there. Can't find a white jersey. As Samkow pushes back out to midfield with Lefebvre. Good ball in on the right side. Kozamara had a bit of a run there, but that one's scooped up there by King.
There you can just see the vision of a player like Filip Mirkovic being able to just sense where his wingers are going to be when they're running in behind. And great play from Samkow in order to create that space in behind for the winger to even run into at all. That's what you want from your center forward, dropping back slightly further into midfield to kind of pull a defender with you it's going to create that space for others to run it behind. You even saw him run all the way back to kind of defend and force it out for a throw-in over here.
FDU kind of stepping their way down the field here with a series of throw-ins, getting slightly closer to that final third, but still haven't gained possession for too much. I believe that's going to be a handball there, and Pitt will get a free kick out of that.
Much less problematic handball than the one that gave away a penalty earlier.
Didn't want to go there necessarily, but yes, that's certainly the case. Won't be a PK from that one, but we'll play on. Tangle in the midfield here. Mirkovic fouled. And we were talking about before the game the role of Filip Mirkovic in this team. He doesn't necessarily have those stars around him in that forward group like he did last year. But today, a performance that he can really hang his hat on. He has really facilitated things from the middle there for the Panthers and has really been a major contributor on 3 of their 4 goals, excluding the PK, of course. But at the same time, he really seems to be showing signs of life as he can really take over that quarterbacking role for this Pitt attack.
Yeah, and that's something that he always wants to be doing, but it's nice to see it also come off as opposed to him, you know, being that quarterback and making things happen and creating chances. But if they don't come to anything, it's always going to feel a little unfortunate for him as a player. It's going to ruin his confidence because you want to be a provider. You want to give your teammates a chance to make something happen. But if nothing happens, then you're going to have to start looking elsewhere. So it's really important for them to kind of have these games where they do score 2, 3, 4 goals, because it's just going to give him much more confidence in himself and his teammates going forward into big games like Syracuse next week.
And you talk about going into ACC play. Pitt is really going to need all parts of that operation to be working at their full extent. They have tonight, of course, with the finishing from Sam Cow and the facilitation in the midfield from really both Mercado and Mirkovic.
Yeah, and it's good to see them figuring that partnership out, Mercado and Mirkovic. They've really looked like they have a great relationship there in midfield. And they kind of working off each other very effectively.
Nice play there from Mercado to regain possession. Looked like there might be a foul called there for a minute, but the referee keeps his whistle in his pocket. And we'll play on. And we talked about how Fairleigh Dickinson would really need to be coming out really strong in this second half of play, but Pitt continuing to control the pace here, especially after those 2 goals. Just a little bit too much to handle here tonight for the Knights, it seems like. Kozamara on the right side. Looking for Silly. Try to keep it in there, but a nice play defensively. Sliding across. It looked like it might have been Le Guin.
Really nice play. That's something that FDU need to do too, is kind of get their fullbacks involved in the attack, get numbers forward. Silly with the underlap there creates the chance that's going to give him the corner. And now Sam Cow, hat-trick hero.
Sam Cow and Lefebvre off. We'll see if might get another opportunity later for that 4th goal. Probably unlikely at this point in the game.
You have to think not.
If that's the last we see of Louis Sam Cow tonight, he can go home with a smile on his face.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be too disappointed coming off the field with 3 goals.
He put in his work today for sure. And is the main reason why Pitt is out to a 3-goal lead here with just under a half hour to play. The only hat trick so far in his career.
Now on defensive front, we see a change with Lefebvre coming off and another international defender in Fabian Grau coming on the field. His first action, nice header to keep possession in their offensive third.
Grau, the native of Hamburg, Germany. Haven't seen a lot of him so far tonight. Kozamara moving in, left foot, strong strike there, just goes wide of the post.
Oh, from my angle, that looked like it was going to curl straight in the bottom corner, but unfortunately just couldn't wrap his foot enough around it. That's exactly what you want to see from your wingers. A left-footed winger like Kazumara, you want him cutting in. You want him making problems for the goalie and for the defenders on that right side. He's done a really great job running down the line and trying to put crosses in to provide for his teammates. But every once in a while, you need to mix it up.
Yeah, Kozumara working with his left foot there, but that had a little bit of oomph on it, as they say.
A lot of bit of oomph.
I think that one was going in if it was on target, but nevertheless, Pitt unable to make it 5-1. It was the 16th shot of the night for the Panthers, compared to 4 for the Knights.
Yeah, unfortunately for these Pitt fans, the free tacos don't double for 4 goals like they do for 2.
And they do have the promotion for the free tacos here at Ambrose Urbanic whenever the team scores 2 goals. But as you said, that does not compound, or that may run the restaurant out of business a little bit. Mercado working his way forward. Looking for Torre there on the left side. Can't find him. As FDU will get a free kick after the whistle. Tima to take it, excuse me. King to take it. Timadu is right there. And Gilman will receive that goal kick. Going back to that sort of strategy they had in the first half, those long passes to sort of no man's land. And Pitt will once again regain control.
Yeah, and if you're Seth Rowland, the head coach of FDU.
Torre, some space cutting in. Really strong block again there from Marquez. He continues to be really strong in the back line.
Yeah. It's good to see, like I was saying, as a coach, it's good to see your team at least still put up a fight, but watching on, you have to think this game is just getting further and further out of reach as every second ticks away on that clock. You want your team to be fighting. You want them to be pushing forward like they are right now and putting pressure on that back line, but the way that you've coached them to defend as a block, to defend as a unit, really work together as defense in midfield in order to clog up those passing lanes, that's not going to work to get you back into this game. You need to be pushing numbers forward. You need to be putting pressure on that Pitt back line. And right now, the 2 forwards are just sitting back, waiting for something to happen, waiting for the ball to come to them. They're letting the ball go out wide. It's too easy. Pitt are happy to keep the ball, and FDU are happy to let them have it, but I don't think they're going to be happy with the result at the end of it.
You just got to wonder if they have the reinforcements. Not a team necessarily built to come back from this kind of deficit. As we mentioned in the open, they've had trouble putting the ball in the back of the net so far this season, and against a team like Pitt, this feels like a nearly insurmountable hill to climb here with just about 25 minutes to go in the game. Run up the left side, though, here. Maybe a chance developing for Barbero with speed. But a really nice play defensively by Grau to close that opportunity off.
Yeah, that was very well done. Always hard as a substitute to come in and be up to the pace of the game, but he defended that very well. And FDU, it seems like most of their chances have come from kind of individual plays like that. Getting the ball to your wingers and your forwards and letting them try to run through a couple players. You know, Lopez had that one chance in the first half where he got the ball near the halfway line and just tried to take it himself, but it didn't work out. And that one goal they had was a result of a quick cross across the field and a brilliant ball into a header. So
maybe just haven't had the pace on those reinforcements to continue to develop those opportunities. Like you said, they've had 1 or 2 guys go up and then not a lot of help come up after, and then that Pitt back line able to generally close off those opportunities. You mentioned that goal from Gomez, but for the most part, still a strong effort by this Pitt defensive unit again tonight.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. I don't think it's necessarily that their team doesn't want to go forward and help. They do, but they've probably talked all week about not pushing forward too much against a Pitt team, which are so quick in transition, which are so good attacking-wise, which have so much talent, that it's hard for them to break out of that even when they are 3 goals down. They want to kind of work with the strategy that they've built all week in training and in practice. I'm sure they went through a walkthrough this morning where they just went side to side and tried to hold the ball in front of them, keep it in front of their face, let their defenders control the game from a defensive standpoint, and have their goalie make a couple good saves for them and get out of this game with a draw or a win, hopefully. But now, 4-1 down, it's a whole different game.
Chance on the rush here on the right side. Pretty good run there from Hamdawa, but couldn't get there. Maybe an opportunity coming. Another set piece here. Second corner of the night upcoming for the Knights. And as we mentioned a few times, just not necessarily a team that's built to work out of a deficit. When you lean on that defensive unit so much, you really have a lot of trouble digging yourself out of these holes because you're asking your forwards to do a lot more than your team is designed for them to do. Potentially a chance here to cut that lead to 2 here for the Knights. Pretty good ball into the box. That one steered away, though, from Carter. As Mirkovic will help with the clear. Torrey assisting as well, and Mayufo up the left side. Tripped up there by Marquez, and it'll go out of play. So another nice job by Pitt clearing off that set piece with no damage done.
And you have to think that every single one of those chances that FDU get from now on is kind of do or die. Just over 20 minutes to play. They're not going to get too many more, are they?
Fabian Grau goes coast to coast with Torrey. The top of the box shot goes high. Feels like Torrey's getting closer and closer here.
Oh, yeah, it does. Both wingers.
Yeah.
Kozumara had his chance on the other side as well.
Both have been operating with the ball at their feet a lot tonight in dangerous areas, but just unable to get on the score sheet so far. But if you're Jay Vidovich, you got to be really impressed from the performances in your young wingers tonight, even though they haven't shown up on the box score. Really promising signs going forward.
I agree. And we said it a couple times before, but I'll say it again. They don't need to be popping up on the score sheet.
Yep.
You know, when you're creating chances as well as they have tonight, you're going to have a forward like Luis Samkow stepping in and putting them away. And he did it 3 times tonight, and hopefully he does it, 10 more times throughout this season. Here's another chance for them.
Kozumara working close into the net, close side. That one scramble at the net front, and it looks like that went in off the foot of Torrey.
He got it. He got the goal he's been wanting. We're just talking about him. And he's able to get his goal just before it looks like he's about to get substituted, actually, as I see some wingers lining up on the sideline for Pitt. So that's a really great way for him to cap off his own night, open his account for Pitt on the night.
And you talk about the 2 wingers, the 2 setup guys in the goal, really. I mean, Kozumara working in on the right side, and then Torrey there to clean it up to make it 5-1.
Really great confidence booster for him going through the rest of the season. It's not the goal that he wanted to score. I'm sure he would have loved to have curled one in from 25 yards like he was trying to do a couple times before, or beat a man and put it in the back of the net, but they all count. It'll show up as a 1 next to his name on the score sheet for tonight, and it'll show up as 5 next to Pitt's name.
Wasn't 100% sure if that goal was going to go to Torrey or Kozumara for a minute. That ball was on the line for, it felt like a minute and a half, but Torrey was the one to poke that one in to make it 5-1. Left side going into the box here. That one blocked. Back heel opportunity there. It looked like Giraldo there. Tried to put that one in.
Yeah, and now you can see kind of the desperation from FDU, which they honestly should have had 25 minutes ago. These are the types of opportunities that are only going to be created when you try things like that. You look to go out of your comfort zone a little bit. Yeah, you might concede a goal, but you're already down 2 or 3. You got to try something else You got to mix it up. Look to get other people involved. That's really the only way that you're going to make something happen in this game.
Entering today, Fairleigh Dickinson had only allowed more than one goal once so far this season. They've allowed 5 today to a Pitt team that has been really cohesive all night long.
They only conceded 4 all season before tonight.
From a Pitt side of things, if you double a team's goals allowed total and then 1 in the course of a night, you got to feel pretty good about yourself when it's all said and done. A little bit of a rocky start. Kozamara, another chance up the wing, but that one gobbled up by King. But going back to the point from before, a team that necessarily hasn't gotten the scoring when they've needed it along the way so far this season, but looking very good offensively today.
And to put 5 past any team, let alone a team like FDU, which has defended so well all season, is going to feel really good from a confidence standpoint throughout the rest of this week. They're going to be training at a very high level. They're going to be training with pace, and they're not going to be too worried in training about the goals that they score feeling like they might not come in a real game. When you actually get those goals, it just makes everything feel that much more real in a training session. Every single goal that you score in a scrimmage, every single shot that you put in the back of the net in a drill, it is going to feel like it's much more possible when it comes time to play 90 against a real team.
Kozamara working it again, left foot. That one blocked. FDU gets the clearance there. And going back to your point from before, Spencer King, a guy coming into this game today, a top 5 save percentage nationally. And granted, Fairleigh Dickinson, not necessarily the toughest schedule in the country entering today, but still a strong team. As we mentioned, made the NCAA tournament last year and have really been competitive in every game they've played leading up to this point. Had a bit of a dud on the road against Cal, but besides that, really commanding their schedule. But today, not their night in Pittsburgh. Here's Grau. Mirkovic working up the middle again. Was looking for Morania up the middle, but couldn't find him as that pass gets broken up, and FDU will regain possession in the midfield. Dow on the outside. Hard contact there from Mayufo. Both players get up, though. Look to be okay. That'll be a yellow for Mayufo.
This game still has a bit of pace about it, you know. FDU aren't letting up just yet, which is something you really love to see from a fan and a coaching perspective. You don't want your team to die out, because in games where it's not 5-1, maybe if there was a couple less goals scored in this game from a Pitt perspective, you'd really feel like you have a chance to push forward and score another goal, get back into it. So, you know, this is a real test for them. Even if they don't go on to win this game, not conceding over the rest of these next 15 minutes will be really good look for them going forward.
Kozamara leaves for Silly there. Loose in the box, but cleared away. And you look at this FDU team looking forward. Their schedule gets much easier from here on. Playing on the road against a team ranked in the top 5 to start the season, that's a very tall task from the get-go. But they have looked strong at times tonight. Of course, the floodgates opened a little bit in the second half, but certainly a team that we expect to be competitive. And you're sort of seeing that now, is they're really not taking the foot off the gas, even though they're down 4. This is a team that's going to be strong moving forward into the season. Mass changes coming on both sides here as we get into the final 15 or so minutes of play. Kozamara will come off, so doesn't look like he's going to get his goal tonight, but a really strong performance in that right wing spot for him.
This is the first time I think I've seen that this season. Jackson Gilman coming off for Abraham Brown. Without their captain, played in every game this season. We mentioned him a little bit in the first half as an important player on this team for more than just his skill and knowledge of the game in defense, but as a real locker room player, important to keep the morale high in the team room. Important to keep everything ticking on and off the field. And he's going to make way, get some much-needed rest, much-deserved rest.
So here, Dyke and Santiago Ferreira also on for the Panthers in the dwindling minutes of a dominant home win. It looks to be a 5-1 scoreline right now. See if they can add on to it, but nevertheless, a really strong performance today from Jay Vidovic's squad. Mirkovic looking for more. Curling back to the middle. One-touch pass goes back to him and then out to Sullivan. Left side, Dyke, and then McIntyre.
Yeah, McIntyre came on in that forward role, that kind of advanced winger role before, and now he's playing at fullback. Position that he knows a little bit more well and from previous seasons, but at Pitt, he's kind of taken up that advanced role.
See a couple of these Pitt players coming off the bench, able to play a multitude of positions. Noah Hall as well. That's valuable going down the stretch, especially once you get into the later part of the season. You're going to have injuries. It's an inevitability. And if you can have guys who can play a multitude of roles, that's really going to help you out. A chance here for Fairleigh Dickinson. Moving in was Hamdawa, but he can't get that one on net, and will go out of play for a corner.
Great challenge from Brown coming across the field as a center back. Like I was saying before with Grau, you got to be up to the pace of the game right away, and he was there covering for his teammate. He ran straight across to make sure to get a foot in so that that shot could not get on goal and trouble Cabral Carter.
Corner number 3 for the Knights. It'll be Garcia to take it. A header goes on there, so Carter forced to make the save. It'll be his 3rd of the afternoon.
And a decent save. Decent save, keeping his head in it. Gets on top of the ball, make sure nothing else happens, no rebounds. You know, the worst thing that'll happen now for Pitt is if they concede again. They really, I'm sure, will be kicking themselves for the goal they conceded in that first half that made this game look like it was going to be much more of a contested affair than it is.
Cabral Carter, a fascinating storyline to follow so far this season. A bit of a question mark in net coming into the season for the Panthers. He's played strong at times, has had his moments of weakness as well, but the young goalkeeper for the Panthers holding strong there. We've seen his positioning be an issue a little bit over the course of the season, but a nice job there to gobble up that save. And I'd say for a guy who's only in his 2nd year with the program, he's been really strong in net, filling in that number 1 role for the Panthers and really helping him out quite a bit so far this season.
Yeah, I think he's been very strong, and actually unfortunate that he's made a couple mistakes so far this year because, you know, when you concede a lot of goals, you're always going to be looking at the goalie. And unfortunately, Pitt had much bigger problems in defense earlier this season than just the goalkeeper. So a lot of times you'll get fingers pointed at you when the ball touches the back of the net as a goalie, just because you're the closest one to it. But it's not always going to be your fault, and he's made some big saves, like you said. He's come up in big moments for them, and I think he will continue to over the course of this season. He'll only grow into that team and be able to support his back line from a vocal perspective, from a tactical perspective, as he learns more about how to control his team in the way Jay Vidovic wants him to. And it's just going to make him that much stronger.
Here's Hall on the right side. That one goes out of play. New goaltender in the game as well for Fairleigh Dickinson. It'll be David Bejarano out of Old Bridge, New Jersey.
First minutes for any goalkeeper this season for FDU, not named Spencer King. good chance for him to at least get some minutes under his belt.
Mirkovic on the corner with just under 10 to play. Looking near post there. Can't find a Pitt player, though, and that one will go back out to the midfield with Hall. Working in the middle is Souza. Back over to Ferreira. And Ethan, is someone who's seen a lot of this Pitt team so far this season. We've talked about the ebbs and flows of the early goings so far. How do you feel about this team sort of heading into the meat of ACC play, guys? You've had a couple games so far, but at the same time, pretty small dosage of conference play. Now you're going to get into the really tough stretch where you're going to be really challenged pretty much on a nightly basis every time you go out there in a really strong Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah, the ACC is such a strong division, maybe the strongest in the country. And like you said, they already took down one of the top dogs in Wake Forest. They'll be feeling very good about that. They're undefeated in conference play. That draw against Boston College is not going to be feeling too great for them, but you know, that was just before this game, and they've been able to bounce back. Going on to score 5 goals against a team like FDU is no small task. So I think they'll have their head held very high moving into the rest of ACC play. It seems like they've, at the very least, figured out a way to put the ball in the back of the net a couple times. At home, nonetheless. Going away from home is always going to be tough in the ACC, but I think they should feel very confident in their ability to push forward and really break waves in this conference.
Hard foul there on Noah Hall, who went down after it looked like he got an elbow to the face. It'll be a yellow card there on Hugh. Played under 10 minutes so far in this game, but picks up the yellow and forces the stoppage here with a little under 9 minutes to play. Hall walks off gingerly. Looks like he's okay. That certainly didn't feel great, though. It's kind of falling down already, and then looks like he caught an elbow.
Yeah. It's a chilly night in Pittsburgh as well. It's always going to hurt that much more.
We've kind of exited that season where it's 90 degrees every day, and we're sort of starting to get into the more traditional Pittsburgh weather of being able to see your breath at night.
Oh, yeah. So much. It's a lot nicer than snow, but it's still not the best weather.
Sullivan up the middle. Looked like a pretty good pass there. Looking for the run from Morania. More space on the side for the Panthers. Dyke will slow things down.
That's a good job from Dyke. You know, a lot of wingers will get the ball at their feet there and just look to take on a player, which is something that you like to see in your winger, but not in that position. They're in midfield. They don't have anyone else out wide. Just take a touch, play the way you face. Go back to your teammates, keep the ball, and recycle the way that your team knows they can do, and win them another free kick on the other side of the pitch.
Dyke, the first-year player from Kansas City, Missouri, spent some time with Sporting KC's academy for quite a few years before coming to Pitt, and also scored his first career goal earlier this season against Howard.
What a goal it was, too. I was here watching that. Brilliant finish on the left side as he pushed in. And that's a good moment for him. Good as a new player to kind of get your bearings by putting the ball in the back of the net.
Hall crosser into the box, can't find anybody. So, Ethan, you've been here for both of Pitt's 5-goal performances so far this season at home.
I guess I'm the lucky charm.
Yeah, I guess they might want you to call a few more games here down the stretch getting into conference play. I mean, but in all seriousness, though, a Pitt team that has been really strong at home. We've seen them sort of struggle at times over the course of the regular season over the years, but here at Ambrose Urbanic Field, this is a team that continues to play strong in front of their home supporters.
Yeah, for sure. Their home record's been pretty great this season.
Back post. And And it looked like Dyke with an opportunity there, just going wide off the header.
Yeah, that was a big chance. He's going to want that one back. Back to what you were saying, though, Pitt at home have looked so strong, creating chances like that all game, forcing problems for their opponent. And the one game that they lose is against a team like Marshall, who's now #1 in the country, at least up there.
They looked really strong against Marshall for a solid 60 minutes in that game. Just the firepower of that team, just far too strong down the stretch there. That's a squad that's certainly going to be contending for a national title. Pitt hopes to be doing the same as they continue to develop over the course of the season, but Marshall, really a team built to win now throughout the season, and they continue to be an extremely strong program down there in West Virginia.
Yeah, talk about FDU coming up against a strong non-conference opponent in Pitt.
Yeah.
Pitt going up against one of the best teams in the country, non-conference.
Doesn't get much easier with Denver next week either.
No. And that's something that Jay Vidovich likes to do, is challenge his team with those non-conference opponents so that when it comes to conference play, they're ready for it. They can kind of take off the bat donut and really hit hard against some of the best teams in the country in their own right in the ACC.
Up the left side, Dyke possesses. Crosser goes to the middle. That one broken up. Back out to the top.
Nice.
They'll get a free kick opportunity. Once again, really close to the box.
Well done from Souza to get in front there and win a free kick for his team. That ball was kind of bouncing around. Nobody really knew where it was going to go, but he was quickest to it. Mentally and physically got there in front of the FDU defenders. Sets up another chance for them to get a 6th goal tonight.
Souza, another one of these players for the Panthers who has been really strong tonight. Obviously, kind of in the shadow of Sam Cow with the hat trick, but had that goal as well to put Pitt up 1 right before the half, and he continues to be a factor up top for the Panthers.
Stands over the free kick as well.
He'll be up top along with Lefebvre, who feels like has played a large chunk of this game, was in the starting 11, has played nearly 70 minutes. Came off for a little bit in the middle part, but continues his time out there in the final stretch of this one. That one goes just wide, looking for the goal. Number 2 of the night for Souza, but can't find that top right corner of the net.
Yeah, it would have been a much different goal than that first one.
Yeah.
First one was lovely glancing header from the corner. A lot of strength involved, a lot of aggressiveness to be able to get in front of those big FDU defenders on the corner. That one would have taken quite a little bit more finesse to find the upper 90. Nonetheless, a good effort. One you should try with 4 minutes to play, up 4 goals.
Yeah, not necessarily needing to fine-tune your opportunities here. And Souza continuing to try to tack on goal number 2 tonight, but I think him and the rest of the Panthers will certainly take this result regardless. Here's Sullivan. Doesn't get any easier for the Panthers going forward. They play at Syracuse on Friday and then come back home against Denver, as we mentioned before, and then they'll pick up in ACC play with North Carolina and Virginia Tech, both here at Ambrose Urbanic Field in the next couple weeks. Certainly some exciting games coming up, and looking at the very macro picture of this program, a few years ago, this was a team in the ACC that was pretty much winless every season. There wasn't really much signs of hope, and they have really built themselves into a national powerhouse. You come here for a big conference game here at Ambrose Urbanic, and you will see these stands fully filled on the far side of the field. It's basically standing room only if you get here less than 30 minutes before the game.
Yeah, it's really changed. Flipped a total switch. Jay Vidovich has been here for long enough that he's been able to build something kind of from scratch for this Pitt team and their ability to win games in conference against, 7-time national champions Virginia just saying that out loud is it just sounds crazy, knowing that there's only a couple teams that have won more than them. Syracuse that they have to play next, the reigning champs. There's no easy tasks in terms of in-conference games in this one.
And going back just, as we said, within the last decade, it was a big deal for Pitt to even win an ACC game. And now this is a team contending for a national title really every year, it seems like. Under the leadership of Jay Vidovich, his impact on this program really can't be understated. Can't be overstated, excuse me. It's continued on after his time at Wake Forest. He's been in this conference for a long time, and he knows what it takes to win here. And has brought that into Pittsburgh. Just over a minute to play here. Neither team really in any rush here. As time dwindles down. Nice pass there to the outside with Hall.
Lovely play. Minute left, and they're still creating chances like this. You love to see it.
Back in for Hall. He's swarmed there by 3 Knights defenders. And they'll get a free kick with just under 50 to go. Working near side now with McIntyre. Alongside him is Sullivan as that one goes back to Carter with 30 to play. Hamdow on the near side with 10 seconds to go here in Pittsburgh to wrap up an extremely impressive home win for the Panthers. Header into the box. Carter forced off his line there as time comes to an end. And Pitt will pick up their 3rd win of the year in an impressive 5-1 victory over Fairleigh Dickinson. Ethan, really strong side going forward for the Panthers heading